Now, I don't know about you guys, but one thing that has always bugged me about Arma 3's single player is its squad control system. Pressing numbers associated with submenus, which have submenus within submenus. It's tedious at best. Sometimes I just want to load up a scenario and have some really competent AI that will more or less follow me around the map and copy my general playstyle, whilst also not giving the game away before I've even had chance to pull my optics out. Maybe something akin to other shooters, maybe a command wheel of sorts. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if that existed? Well, it actually does, and yet it flies underneath many a player's radar. Introducing the SOG AI mod by Johnny Boy. This mod was originally developed with the intent of making SOG Purifier's co-op focused campaign playable and, more importantly, enjoyable in a single player environment. In the creator's own words, turning the AI into an asset and not a liability. Now, these aren't just empty words, I totally agree, to the point I find it hard playing Arma 3 without it now. Since its initial public release back in May of 2022, the SOG AI mod has expanded its feature set and general usefulness. Not only does this mod have out-of-the-box functionality, but it's also been hand-tailored to provide custom support for many popular workshop scenarios and indeed content from other creator DLC as well. So what does SOG AI actually do? Well, it's essentially built around providing players with an AI that's responsive yet somehow discreet, an AI that feels adaptable to the player's style, and more importantly, an AI that is quick to command in the heat of a heavy firefight. Its primary means to achieve this is through its 10-button command wheel. Only 10 options, yep, but a powerful and most useful 10 they are. And as you're about to find out, not all of SOG AI's features are limited to the command wheel. The wheel represents, in my humble opinion, what a typical player would want from Arma 3 squadding. Starting off, there's options to enable stealth where your units will not engage whatsoever unless they are spotted by the enemy. And in the event they are spotted, squad mates with silence weapons are prioritised to shoot first, which can be the difference between going loud for the rest of the mission, or thanks to this mod, actually retaining that element of stealth and surprise. For added immersion to this stealth mode, when your squad is actually in this mode, hand signals are passed down the line, and simple mouth clicking noises along with simple hand gestures will indicate the spotting of enemy combatants. The leapfrogging button, otherwise known as bounding Overwatch, is another awesome feature. It can be used out of combat as a cautionary advance, but when your squad is engaged with the enemy and facing their general direction, press this button and your squad will split into 2-team killing machine.
Attack northeast, 100 meters up.
These teams will then take turns providing overwatch and advancing upon the enemy. It's great for keeping your unit on the attack whilst avoiding becoming stationary targets for mortars or other support weapons. You'll also notice the improved and, may I say, aggressive use of hand grenades. I say aggressive in a good way, it adds a bit of lethality and conviction to your attack. This button also has a second role. When pressed whilst looking away from the enemy, it will act as a break contact command. The mod really forces units out of combat, popping a few shots and even smokes as they attempt to fall back.
Smoke! Smoke out! Go, I'll cover. Taking back. Move up! Team green! Pull back position! Go! Now!
Whilst it's not perfect, and let's face it, nothing where Arma concerned is, but it's probably the most responsive I have ever seen Arma 3 within a combat situation.
Move up! Team red! Move back! Light them up! Go! I'll cover! Move up! Fast! Hostiles!
So next up we've got the follow or rally up command. It's pretty self-explanatory. It regroups your squad and they will inherit your posture and generally follow your lead. I like to combine this with the file and stealth on command. The unit kind of sticks close and snakes with your movement, and 99% of the time they'll just stay out of trouble. Okay, so formation options. The file we've already just kind of briefly touched on, and then we have the line command. This is obviously best used in conjunction with the leapfrog command, especially when engaged. It provides the maximum amount of firepower across a wider area. When the AI is not following you, you can issue simple move there commands for the unit as a whole. You also may want to use the remaining dedicated posture buttons to help keep them from trouble. Following on from this, we have the freeze command. It not only halts the units whilst they are following you, but makes them hit the dirt too. It's a perfect command for when you're sneaking about. Lastly, the laying dog button essentially has the whole team lay prone in a close-knit circle, providing 360 degrees of observation and, if needed, firepower.
Down and quiet.
It's perfect for taking pit stops and planning your next move, or when you know the game's up and the enemies are coming, but you're not too sure from where. With the command wheel out of the way, let's explore what other features SOG AI includes. So in vanilla Arma 3, river crossing is usually a very precarious task. In follow mode, or even when given a move order, there's no guarantee the AI will cross with you. In fact, most of the time they'll attempt to path 1 kilometer upriver, and even more worryingly, get stuck or refuse orders altogether. To combat this particular problem, the mod includes a river crossing option in the action menu. This is again contextual and will only appear when mousing over nearby bodies of water. The script will basically pick a start and end point for the crossing, and AI can then execute the crossing as a whole or by fire team. Again, really handy when you're under fire. The mod detects, at least to my knowledge, craters introduced in SOG Prairie Fire, and will, like the crossing option, it will provide a contextual action menu which will allow you to place a squad or individual fire teams into said crater. Something to note here is the AI will do this rather quickly, no walking, sliding or bloody moonwalking into the crater, they'll just run in. It's incredibly useful.
Team Green, take cover. Copy. Team Green, move up.
SOG AI also takes advantage of the melee combat introduced by its parent Creator DLC. Perfect when coupled with the aforementioned crater placement. Just imagine the VC or enemies from a different time period rushing your position. They get within touching distance and bam, melee takes over. Not only that, but SOG AI supports Web Knight's melee mod for truly cinematic and frankly horrifying scenes. There are, of course, other features such as persistent battlefield effects. You know when you've had a hard battle as you bask in the glory, or rather infamy, of a burnt out village, scorched earth and smouldering woodwork. In fact, for you people who want to commit roleplay, you can actually root out all possible traces of the Viet Cong by ordering squad mates to fire a hut or a hooch. For argument's sake, we'll just say that these were confirmed weapon stashes and fighter hideouts. I think I'll just leave the rest of the features for you to explore from now.
Line them up. Wilco. Fucking hell yeah!
What about when things go wrong? Maybe your squad has taken a few hits. Well, there is a fully implemented revive mechanic utilising SOG Prairie Fire's revive system as a base. The player AI can provide medical assistance to their teammates and the player themselves. And again, another cool detail is that bandages, it seems, have a percentage chance to be added to anyone who has received medical attention. Your whole unit won't have bandages, so the novelty doesn't wear off too soon, but as I said, it's a really cool detail indeed. Staying on the subject of things going a bit wrong, as with anything in the Armaverse, it can and probably will break. Although to the mod's credit, it's few and far between. I would say 9 out of 10 problems, especially in regards to stuck units, can be fixed by simply disabling SOG AI from the action menu, issuing a vanilla regroup command, and then proceeding to re-enable the mod. Also, the mod's boarding AI seems to be somewhat slow. I actually revert to using vanilla commands to do so, they just get in the vehicle a lot quicker. It's a really odd one considering everything else feels so responsive in relation to normal Arma standards, I'd say. Going back to like the stuck unit behaviour, as a possible or potential fix, I'd like to maybe see something similar to one of C2 command and control settings and have a button that essentially resets a team. Maybe it can even teleport them to the player's vicinity in the event things go really horribly wrong. And something I would absolutely love to see as an addition to the mod, which is actually being used by C2 and Jack's wargame currently, is contextual cover. It would be perfect if that functionality got added to, say, the move there command from the wheel. Great for moving your squad against a wall, structure or other objects. Now, in my opinion, the only thing that could possibly stop you trying this mod out is the creator DLC requirement. But if you haven't got your hands on SOG Prairie yet, you are really missing out on a fantastic content pack, not to mention this awesome mod. I'd probably put Prairie Fire into a must bracket along with Apex now. Armor sales are relatively frequent if you're not willing to pay full price, but alas, we are talking about a mod, so I'm going to leave that particular point there. So I'm going to sum it up here. If you want a solid, unobtrusive but supportive AI with some really good quality of life additions, then look no further than SOG AI by Johnny Boy. You can find the link as usual in the description box below. Have fun! Bye!